Happy Halloween Eve.
Halloween Eve is exactly right. Kurt and Jen in the morning, our podcast, our video cast. Thank you for joining us. Got a little sleep in the eyes there, don't I?
Yeah, well, you're not that awake, because here's what happened. I have to share this because this is
Please go ahead. You mean my senior moment or my old person moment?
yeah.
Yeah.
So Kurt and I are doing a little show prep before we start recording, and we're on FaceTime. And Kurt's like, "Hold on a second, I gotta go find my phone."
So I'm
So
looking around and
so he
looking around for the
leaves,
phone.
yeah, he leaves the room to go find his phone. And of course, my senior moment is that I'm not helping my friend say, you're talking on your phone right now. Your wife has to tell you you're
That was
talking to
pretty
Jen on
funny.
your phone.
She's like, aren't you talking to Jen on FaceTime on your phone? Oh. What I say was like, where are my glasses? I can't find my glasses, and they're on your head. Although this might be a little bit worse. So yes, a little tired today.
I've done this before. I have done that before.
Well, fortunately, I did find my phone right here. So that was lucky. Today on the big program, how to guarantee your baby will end up a billionaire. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Is there
Right?
really a guarantee?
That's what the headline is. How to guarantee your baby will end up a billionaire.
Wow. Okay.
Probably not exactly a guarantee. Health tip for your gut involving Halloween candy. So that's going to infect a lot of us tomorrow. Also, what we mentioned yesterday, and you guys again delivered as always, things that are simple, but for some reason you're horrible at, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. Finally, why dudes go to Keith Urban concerts, according to Keith Urban. And you can win $100,000.
I mean, this is legit. Yeah. There's a contest where you can win 100 grand.
Not from us.
No, not from us.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's get into it.
Well, I don't want to play any happy music here because it's sad.
Okay, tell me.
All right. First story, Teri Garr, actress Teri Garr, passed away yesterday at the age of 79. She had multiple sclerosis for a long time. And eventually, I don't believe you die from multiple sclerosis. You die from like having a heart attack due to it or whatever. But anyway, that led to her passing at 79. So many iconic movies for her: Young Frankenstein, Close Encounters, Mr. Mom, one of our favorites here at the Cruz household. She was in Oh God with John Denver, After Hours, The Player, and Dumb and Dumber. I forgot about that she was in Dumb and Dumber as the mom. Wow. So, you know what? Before that really crude phrase MILF was invented, Teri Garr was one of those.
She is very, very pretty.
Yes, a good dancer. She started out actually with in Elvis Presley movies. She was in like Viva Las Vegas and other things like that. And then eventually, they didn't mention Tootsie. She was in Tootsie, and she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress, the Oscar for that in 1982. So,
wait, she also played Phoebe's biological mom on Friends,
whose name was also Phoebe. Her character's name was Phoebe something else, not Buffet. But yeah, her final role before the MS forced her into retirement was How to Marry a Billionaire in 2011. And we have a quote here from Mel Brooks, who of course directed her in Young Frankenstein, where she was Olga, who liked to roll in the hay. Very sorry to hear about Teri Garr's passing, said Mel Brooks. She was so talented, so funny. Her humor and lively spirit made the Young Frankenstein set a pleasure to work on. Her German, quote, accent had us all in stitches. So, yeah. And unfortunately, I think she got sort of pigeonholed into playing these sort of ditzy blonde characters, and she was really smart. It felt like she was always the smart one in the movie. Around the other people that thought they were smart. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, that is a sad thing. I hate to pass that along, but yeah, Teri Garr has passed away.
Big loss in the acting community for sure. So Kurt, when we started talking about the World Series before it started and the fact that the Dodgers and the Yankees were in it, I was like, I want the Dodgers to win. They're the underdogs as far as not underdogs. They're not the underdogs. They just haven't won as many World Series as the New York Yankees. Well, I might have changed my mind now.
Why is that?
Because there has never been a team that in a World Series situation that has come back from a 3-0 loss of games, right? Because it's the best of 7. No team has ever done it. So last night was a do or die for the Yankees to even stay in it. 11-4. Talk about showing up.
Yeah, but you still remember it's the Yankees. You were all the Yankees bad. The Yankees.
I know, but listen, these two teams are the ones that have teamed up the most in the World Series. And yes, the Yankees have won a majority of those team ups. or the matchups, right?
Right.
But
But now
how
you just want the Yankees to win so somebody could come from a 3-0 deficit to win the whole
Yeah.
thing? All right.
Yes. That's how much I really don't care about all of this. I just think a world record would be fun.
Well, you made it seem like you cared a lot about it, but okay. All right. Yeah, you know what? But if it goes to 7 games, that's always very competitive and very nice because, it's more baseball to watch. So 5:08 tonight. Again, Yankees are playing in New York. Well, both of them are playing in New York. And yeah, it's another do or die game tonight.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
Tell me
Now,
about the Kraken.
Kraken last night. What a dominant performance. It was good to see because the last couple of games have been kind of meh, and you get to wondering. But Kraken won. They beat the Montreal Canadiens 8-2 last night, which is almost like a football score. If they would have got to 9, I would have thought it was a football score. But yeah, so the Canadiens, and on top of that, are you familiar with the hat trick in hockey, Jen?
I only know the hat trick in baseball when they put the ball under the hat and they shuffle them up.
That's a different hat trick, yes.
What's
They
a
do that
hat
at the
trick?
stadium, yeah. No, a hat trick is when one player gets 3 goals in a game.
That happened?
Well, not only did that happen, there's also a natural hat trick, which is the more rare thing, which is when the 3 goals come, but the same player, 1, 2, 3. Like nobody else gets a goal in between on either team. And Brandon Montour did that last night, 3 goals and 1 assist, and a natural hat trick. Which, if we were playing at home, the ice would have been people throw their hats. That's how you show your respect or whatever. You take your
No
hat off, and
way.
it would have been the
Seriously?
ice would have been covered with hats. But because it was in Montreal, just one hat. I saw one hat made it to the ice. So it
I
had to be
love
at least
that
a
kind of
Kraken fan
stuff.
there.
They do?
Yeah, yeah. So there you go. Congratulations. So hopefully that's a sign of better things to come. And for whatever reason, sometimes the Kraken play better on the road than they do at home. Yes, ma'am. You've got your hand up.
What's it called when they do 4 goals? If someone scores 4 goals, is that a different thing?
I I I don't think there's a name for it.
Okay.
A big hat trick.
That's freaking awesome, is what it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it. So there we go. All
All
right.
right. I
Here
have
we
a
go.
little something for you, Kurt.
What's the something for me?
After you binge on some candy tomorrow night, or even tonight, do you have your candy that you're passing out?
We had our candy we were passing out.
And then you ate it? You ate it?
I played the fifth on that one. No, we've got candy. We do have candy to pass out.
Well, here's the deal. When you if you haven't bought your candy yet, and even if you have, head to the grocery store and get yourself some sauerkraut, because that is what's going to help your gut once you fill it with a whole bunch of candy.
I'm going to suggest that you don't do that
Why?
because sauerkraut is awful. And who wants to have sauerkraut if they've had some yummy, delicious candy?
Okay, listen to me for a second, okay?
I'm listening.
There's a big article on how too much candy can wreck your microbiome in your gut.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the delicate balance of good bacteria. So
Right.
when you put a bunch of candy in it, it messes it up, right? And it can
Right.
weaken your immune system, all the bad things. So the way to deal with it is you get a bunch of sauerkraut and you eat it to balance it out. No?
Well, that is good advice. I agree. I can't stand sauerkraut, and it seems like that would be an awful thing to take after you had candy.
Okay.
I would say, how about this? Eat all the candy you want, and
Okay.
then eat a little more candy, and then just go take a Tums. Mm-hmm.
Nope. I have some other options for you because this is all part of the whole 4Fs: fiber, phytochemicals,
Right.
unsaturated fats, and fermented foods. So the sauerkraut is the fermented foods part because the phytochemicals are just like eating plants. So it's like we eat some salad, right? Eat some veggie.
Mm-hmm.
The other fermented foods that you can eat instead of sauerkraut, if you really don't like sauerkraut: yogurt, kimchi, or kombucha.
Ooh, I'll do some yogurt
Okay.
because you can put M&Ms in the yogurt
Oh,
or
for crying out loud. All right, move it
okay.
along.
Moving along. That's good advice. Although I don't think most people are thinking about that on Halloween, but they should,
Well,
right?
yeah, just to fix your gut up a little bit.
This next story is nuts.
I
Right?
think so too. I was a little like, yeah, go ahead.
Well, every election, of course, campaigns, both all the campaigns push to get out the vote, get out and vote, right? Encouraging everyone to let their voices be heard. That's a good idea.
Yes.
One group's voices apparently are not being heard, and that is babies and young kids. And now they are saying there's a poll that says 20% of Americans think that kids of all ages should be allowed to vote.
I have strong opinion on this, and the
I
answer
imagine you
is no.
do. So it's really just the last status. It's really unclear how that would work for young kids since they can't, well, even keep their coloring inside the lines. So
Well,
they're
and,
going
and if we're talking about babies, like everybody should be able to vote. That's stacking ballots at this point, right?
to,
I mean, kid, adults barely do any research on candidates and look at both sides. I mean,
yeah.
it's just
Are
silly.
the kids going to vote for the one that has the funnest name?
No,
Yeah.
you know what's going to happen is the parents are going to take the ballots and vote for their kids.
Well, this is there is another option on here that they said about 1 in 10 people support giving parents one additional vote for each child they have who is a minor. Disagree.
No,
Disagree.
no.
The last thing we need is excuses for people to go out and have more kids. We have too many people.
Right. Now, here's the thing I will say, Kurt. I know that
Hmm.
there was talk about in this whole situation that there's talking about here. There was talk about lowering the age to maybe 16 to vote.
Hmm.
I could get maybe on board on that if there was more education about being an educated voter.
Right.
That's all. Yeah.
Right. Well, there's another third of people think the minimum voting age for national elections should be raised to 21.
Well, I mean, I could be on board with that too.
I don't know. When are people actually an adult or, actually care about the issues? Or, yeah.
That's
So,
that's subjective, and it's some people never do. I mean, if that's how we're going to like say that that's when you're an adult, many people don't even get there.
right. I'm going to say no baby voting. Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay. I like that.
I love
No
it.
baby voting.
I'm loving that you put the weather report in here for tomorrow so that people know how to plan.
Yeah, it's pretty generic. And of course, this is just for the Pacific Northwest, specifically the Seattle area.
Because that's where we're from. So
yeah.
sometimes if you're listening in other areas, sometimes you get some hyper local stuff. So
Right. And this is the hyperlocal stuff. Rain should be limited, which is good. Although it almost always, I should say it always rains on Halloween, right? It's rare
almost
that we don't get a
always.
little bit of rain. So the
Yeah.
rain should be limited. People heading out for Halloween should be prepared for cooler temperatures. Or saying around trick-or-treating time should be about 50, but that's not bad. 50 is okay.
Oh, yeah, and especially if we can keep the rain away, that's not bad
Mhm.
at all. You're gonna want to bundle up a little bit.
So 50 with spotty showers. So if you have a waterproof costume, that might be beneficial for tomorrow. But otherwise, yeah, and actually you kind of want to have a dreary night for Halloween, don't you? That's part of the deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so. I mean, yeah, but it's
It
nice to
sets
stay
the
dry.
mood.
It's nice to stay dry.
Okay. It is nice to stay dry. That's true.
This is good. And not surprising, by the way, about dogs and cats and state.
Since we're just talking about the election and voting, there are, of course, people say that there are red states and blue states. But according to new research, there's also dog states and cat states, right?
Yeah.
The deal is, and this is, again, they just look at, this is not like an official poll. They look at Google Trends data and determine that Colorado and Washington are two of the most pet-obsessed states in America. Excuse me, pet-obsessed states in America.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, judging by their search history. So let's go with the dog-obsessed states, again, according to Google Trends. We've got 10 here: Colorado, Ohio, North Carolina, Florida, Pennsylvania, Washington, Arizona, Illinois, Indiana, and Utah, and California. There's your most dog-obsessed states, right?
Right.
The most cat-obsessed states: Washington, Pennsylvania. Both of those are on both lists. Oregon, Ohio, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Indiana, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Colorado. So we are both a dog and cat-obsessed states.
So are we swing states? Is that how they would categorize that?
Nice. We're a swing state. I guess so. So we are in good company. At least Colorado made both lists for both dog and cat states. So I don't know if,
and it's based on like their Google searches, like if you like how much people are Googling about pets in general, right? Like,
yes, Google
what should I
Trends.
feed my dog? Does my dog love me? Is my cat crazy?
Did you Google, does my dog love me? That's really sad.
Yeah, because I have Snotty Sailor.
She's an interesting case, Sailor is. I love Sailor, and she seems to like me. So
yeah,
I don't know what that means or proves or anything, but good old Sailor.
I am sad that I missed
trivia
last night, Kurt.
True. You may know by now, we do play trivia at Sean O'Donnell's Everett location on Tuesday nights. And our Trivia team name is Whiskey Business. Was that yours, Jen? That was a good name, by the way.
I don't think it was mine.
No, it was a good name.
It's a good name.
We tried to change it, and Sean O'Donnell was like, no, I like Whiskey Business better. So you may remember that Whiskey Business, so far, the best showing we've had, I believe, was 9th. And for some reason, we always got 9th place. And it's not out of 9. We're not that bad. Usually it's out of, I don't know, 15 or so.
Yeah.
Last night, we improved to 8th place. 8th place in trivia.
Yay, team.
Yeah, yeah. And there were 18 teams last night. So that puts us at more than a 500 average. I'm happy about that, to use baseball stats. But now we got to keep up with those. But you weren't there. We could have used you last night, definitely, Jen.
Oh, I feel like no, just a really good cheerleader, and I was cheering from Cedro Woolley, which is where I am right now, just helping Pat out with the remodel. Tell me this, Kurt, do you remember like what the hardest question was? Do you remember at all? I am putting you on the spot. Like, what was one of the tough ones where you were like,
well, they had one. The first round is of Sean O'Donnell's trivia. They offer a bunch of usually photographs.
It's visual. It's a visual trivia.
Yeah, visual one, and so last night it was pictures of celebrities, but they were in their Halloween costumes, okay? And so identify the celebrity. Some of them were pretty easy right away. You'd look at it and say, okay, that's Paris Hilton. That was one of them. But we missed 3 because Lizzo was dressed as Marge Simpson, all right? So she had the yellow face and everything. We got one wrong that my wife Dana got right. She said, "Oh, that obviously right there, that's Kelly Ripa." And then somebody else like, "No, I think that's Heidi Klum. She does all these." Okay, so we went with Heidi Klum, but the answer was actually Kelly Ripa. So Dana.
Sometimes that happens on team trivia.
And there was a third one that we thought was Angelina Jolie, and it turned out it was Adele.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Wow.
So there you go.
Well,
those were the hard ones last night. Yeah.
Congratulations.
But so Tuesday, you better be back, Jim. We need you there every time.
Well, we'll see. Okay, this is the guarantee on how your kid can become rich. Is that what it was?
Yeah. Well, I said guarantee, and I use that loosely. But according to this story, there are 2 ways you can help ensure your children become billionaires. First, you can pass down $1 billion inheritance. Right.
That would qualify.
Or you can name them certain names.
Okay.
Apparently, these are the top billionaire names.
This is Bloomberg Billionaire Index. So this is legit.
They determined which names appeared the most frequently amongst the top 500 uber rich folks. And in the end, well, they came up with the 12 most common names, the 10 most common names, rather. I'll go in reverse order because these are what they did was they said, okay, based on your name, what's the average amount of money that you have? Billionaires.
No, tell us.
All right. Number 10 was Jim. 9 is Richard. Number 8 was Zhang, Z-H-A-N-G. 7 is Charles. You might be a billionaire, but you got to be a Charles for the rest of your life. I guess you could be a Chuck, right?
Stop.
Yeah. Mark was number 6. I guess that's Mark Cuban, billionaire.
Yeah.
Wang was number 5. Michael, number 4. Thomas was number 3. Top 2 and their average total net worth. If you're a David and you're a billionaire, you on average have 118 billion.
Wow. Okay. And number 1?
John, your money is your net worth is about 155.3 billion. All the Johns listening, are you falling short of that?
Those top 2 names, John and David, appeared on the list 12 times.
Yes, they both appeared 12 times on the list.
So here's the good news. Pat has a son named David and a son named Michael. So
well, together they're going to be in the $300 billion range.
I hope that they're going to want to take care of their dad.
Now, something Jen pointed out is like, well, where are the females on the list? And that is an omission. That you're correct. They didn't put together a similar list for female billionaires. Turns out that the total number of billionaires in the world are about 2,800, and roughly 12% of them are women. So
I can tell you what names are going to be on that list.
On the female billionaires list?
Yeah.
What's
Taylor,
that?
Oprah, and Beyonce.
Excuse me.
Who am I missing? Martha Stewart, maybe? Martha?
Adele, would that name be on the billionaire list?
Yeah, it might be.
in time. So there you go. I mean, we're not trying to tell you what to name your kid. We are just saying if you want them to be rich,
Maybe consider these.
there's no guarantee, right? No guarantees ever.
Yeah. This is awesome about Keith Urban.
Because it's actually from Keith Urban's mouth. He said
Yes. He said that there's 2 reasons why men come to his show.
the only 2 reasons, and the only reasons that men would be there, apparently,
So he
are
was
these
on
2 reasons.
Mark Marcone's. I don't know.
Mark Maron, he's a
Maron?
comedian. Yeah,
I
he does
wanna
a
see him there.
podcast. So so
Have you-
Keith Urban.
What kind of podcast does he do? Have you listened before?
Yeah, it's just a general, funny guy podcast. They just talk about, they just chat, but Mark Maron is, he actually, I think he signed on to the whole podcast thing very early. His podcast has been on for a very long time. So,
Okay. Well,
uh,
Urban was on with him. Sorry, I
mhm.
butchered his name. And he said these are the 2 reasons why guys go to his concert. Number 1 is they play guitar.
And they want to watch Keith play guitar.
Yeah.
Number 2, what's number 2?
A woman made them go.
Yep.
He calls them reluctant boyfriends. And he said the guys he sees in the crowd are at the show with their arms folded. And he joked that they're all probably thinking, I'll get lucky tonight if I can just put up with this guy for another couple hours.
That is hilarious. I
Right?
love that.
But I love that Keith Urban, like his whole goal when he sees that kind of thing happening is to win them over by the end of the show. I
So
hope he
maybe
does.
if he succeeds in uncrossing their arms, by the end
Right?
of the show, if they're like arms at their side and they're dancing a little bit, then he's done his job.
Yep.
I think that's hilarious, by the way, because
too.
the same could be said for like a Taylor Swift show, except often it's the dads that are there with the kids. And how many, how many people leave a Taylor Swift show and say that was really way better than I thought it was going to be?
Of many people.
They make them believers because she's that good.
Oh my gosh. This list that we are about to give to you, I was like, oh my gosh, these are phenomenal answers to the question.
Yes. This was a fun one. Whenever we try to think up our daily CURT and Jen question of the day, sometimes we're like, oh, that's so good. And this was one of those. A simple question. What is something that's so simple, yet you're so horrible at? And I think I suggested, well, you know what? I suggested when it's on here, so I'm not even going to say it. So
we can say it. Isn't it folding a fitted sheet?
Folding a fitted sheet. And in my defense, you, Jen, said, well, that's not even simple. So therein lies the rub. But some of these things, people might say, well, that's not a simple thing. Like if you said something that's so simple, you're so horrible at it, and you said microneurosurgery, it's like, well, that's not simple. But these are things that should be simple, perhaps, and people just have a hard time with it.
Let me tell you who agreed with you. Kate also said that folding a sheet, a fitted sheet, and so did Corey. She said, folding sheets, I just can't. They go in a ball.
A ball.
And Corey also added she's not good at baking either. She'll tell people, she won't even tell people she's bringing sweets to a party. She'll just show up with them if they turn out, which I think is hilarious.
At least they don't end up in a ball. Nothing against Corey. She's fun, but I have not actually looked at a YouTube video of this yet. My mom told me, she's like, it's easy. And of course she's like, and there it is. Perfect.
You know what? I've looked at YouTube videos and it doesn't work. It still doesn't work. Anyway, let's jump into it. So Lauren said making Jell-O, despite following the directions, can't do it. And Bree said wrapping presents. It looks like a child with T-Rex arms tried to wrap them.
Amanda on what's something that's so simple yet you're so horrible at: threading a needle to do some quick stitching. I'm terrible at that, even when my eyesight was strong.
Can you relate to this one? Jeff said tying a tie.
Well, I only know one knot. Maybe it's the Windsor. I'm not sure. This is the one my dad showed me when I was probably 13, and it's my go-to tying tie. And I'm not good at it.
Ken's is probably one of my favorite answers. And that's
Ken said, I'm not very good at it's simple, but I'm not very good at thinking pure thoughts. You're right. That is a good one.
Right?
You can't think pure thoughts. Thank you, Ken.
Marilyn said keeping my mouth shut, especially around certain family members. Let's say it gets me in trouble. Nicole said not letting my face say exactly what my mouth didn't say, which is totally me too, Nicole. I totally relate to this. And Lily, who is a friend of ours, and I know she is Asian, so she gets to say this. She's like, making fried rice. It's a total Asian fail.
An Asian fail. Lane, our friend Lane said, bass guitar. It's only 4 strings, but he can't get it. Sometimes they're 5 or more strings, but a 4-string bass, which, you know what? Lane, keep it up because that's not something that's necessarily simple. That,
Yeah, not
stick
simple in
with
my
it.
world at all.
Right. Emily said waking up before 7 a.m. Also not simple for some people.
Halsey said putting away laundry. Kathy said using the broiler. I can relate to this one too. She said out of sight, out of mind. I burn bread all the time when I'm putting it in the broiler because I shut it and then I forget about it.
Well, here's one. Let me ask real quick. What's the purpose of a broiler? How is that different than making it in the oven or something else?
Well, the broiler, if you like put them on like a cookie, the slices of bread on a cookie sheet and they're buttered,
Mm.
it crisps them
Oh,
up.
okay.
You know what
Well,
I
you
mean?
got to have that sounds like a great idea.
It's good.
Jen with two N's said loading the dishwasher, something should be simple that she's horrible at. Andrea said interior house painting. Hmm.
Yeah, and Jackie, my roommate, she piped in on this one. She said chocolate chip cookies, um, which I disagree with. She is a great cook. She doesn't think she makes good chocolate chip cookies, but she just puts spins on them and makes them so delicious. And then she also said the only job I've ever had that I truly sucked at is bussing tables. She said she was atrocious at that.
I've never done it, but it looks, yeah. Jenny, I'm so horrible at remembering people's names. Thank you. That's me too. And even after they just say, hi, I'm Steve, it's, it gone.
Yep. So
I'm bad. Go
somebody
ahead.
said putting lids on jars. I always struggle with that, and the gas caps on my car too. Managing her Tupperware drawer is what Lisa said. Amen, sister.
How about Cindy, who said, I'm horrible and it should be easy. I'm horrible at clothes shopping. I don't know if I'm horrible at it because I don't like to do it or I don't like to do it, so I'm horrible at it. I see. Chicken or the egg. Okay. And Katie, horrible at directions. I literally don't get it. Go east. Huh? Turn south. What? And then she put village idiot. You're not the village idiot, Katie.
I think it's hard when people say go east and then go south. I'm like, what are you talking? I don't know. Just tell me if I'm supposed to turn left or right.
That's mine too. It's like make a left at the church, turn right when you get to the Starbucks. Although that's kind of vague because there's so many Starbucks, and you're there.
Randy said, oh, he also said remembering names even after
Yep.
they just told me.
Yep. Thank
Leslie
you,
said
Randy.
remembering where I put my phone or keys, Kurt Cruz.
Yeah, when I'm actually talking on the phone and I'm like, where's my phone? Ugh. Flannery, agree with putting away laundry. Is the case with everybody that you go and you wash the laundry and then soon after it's done, you put it in the dryer. And then how long does it sit in baskets before you fold it? Days?
I have a laundry basket full of clothes at my house that needs to be folded, so it's not good.
Yeah, we're all bad at that. Carrie, her answer was wording. She's not good at wording. Does that mean like Wordle or just
No, like she'll like have a hard time coming up with the right word, like putting words,
oh,
you know what I
okay.
mean? Like, yeah, I think that's what she means. Cam, who's our favorite bartender, said omelets.
Hmm.
Tina
And
said,
Tina,
yeah, she said braids. They always look awful. And then Laurel agreed and said, I can do regular braids, but I suck at French braids.
no good French braids. How many unique and great answers do we get on that one? I love that. So
Me too.
give that some thought. We're talking about something that seems so simple, but you're horrible at. That's still all posted up there, so you can, you can certainly still offer your items and make that list even a little bit longer and more thorough. I like that. So,
This is good.
all right, here's how you get to your 100 grand.
$100.
Not talking about the $100,000 candy bars either. Ring, Ring that makes the cameras, the doorbell cameras.
Yes.
They have, and this is an annual thing I think that they do. I'm
Well,
not
it's
sure.
a different kind of contest every time they do it. Like I forget, like out of this world was last year's theme, and they were trying to get people to capture
Okay.
aliens.
This time, the Great Ghost Search from Ring Cameras. The contest ends on Friday, so 2 more days. If your Ring doorbell camera catches actual footage of an actual ghost, you get $100,000. That's it.
Well, if it's the best one, like let's say several people capture actual ghosts. But
Okay.
here's the thing about this, right? So it's not, they don't say, okay, if no one submits a ghost, an actual ghost footage thing, that we're
Mm-hmm.
just not giving away the money. No, they're still going to give away the money. It will just go to the video that's submitted that judges like best, and unique and entertaining clips have a leg up on that. So
Okay.
we could come up with some kind of video for, I have a Ring camera. We could
Yeah.
make this happen and win 100 grand.
You could do that dance that you do. That's
I
pretty
don't
funny.
I don't know what it is that we do, but we should do something. There's only 2 main rules. The videos have to be 30 seconds or less, and the footage must be filmed on a Ring device.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. We want you to win that 100,000. Well, we want to win that $100,000. We need it. So
Yeah.
we'll put together something, Jen. We
Okay.
only have 2 days, though. 2 days is
Gotta
all.
get creative. All right. You're like,
You
Jen,
found this one about
you're
soup
like,
season.
Jen, do you really want to talk about this? I'm like, yes.
Okay. Now, I did almost have some bisque the other day, so this is of interest to me.
So it's soup season. Pat and I just had clam chowder the other day. And
Mhm.
so people are Googling, because it's soup season, they're Googling, is blank soup, right? So you fill in the blank.
Is whatever, does that count as soup?
Right. So like some of them are soup versus stew versus chowder. Like,
Mhm.
is there really a difference? The main difference really is the consistency. Stews and chowders tend to be chunkier than actual soup, but it's still kind of the same.
And then they say a bisque is a soup that's been pureed. I like that because it's got some of the thickness to it, but it's still liquidy.
Yeah. Other ones are like, well, so some of the trends on what they're Googling, what kind of soup they're Googling is like roasted butternut squash soup,
Mm-hmm.
acorn squash soup, and pumpkin soup. Would you eat any of those?
Yes, they sound great.
I know, right?
Although who Googles, and this was one of the questions, is blank a soup, right? Is cereal a soup? No.
Why?
Cereal is cereal in milk.
I mean, soup is just liquid with stuff in it.
Cereal is not a soup.
I'm just saying it could be argued. That's why they would ask that.
You can eat cereal out of a box without the actual other stuff. So I'm
Wait.
saying no soup.
Here's a few other things to ponder. Is chili a soup? What? I don't get this one. Is menudo a soup?
I only knew menudo as that boy band from Puerto Rico. Ricky Martin was in menudo, but now it's a traditional Mexican soup made with tripe or cow's stomach. So I'm going to say I'm not going to find out because it sounds terrible.
Is gumbo a soup? I would
Ooh.
say yes. It's kind of like a stew, though. More like
I would go with stew for gumbo for sure. How about is ramen?
Yeah, is ramen a soup?
If you leave the broth in, most people say yes. But so that would be kind of like pho, right? Because there's, would you say pho is a soup? I think so, right?
100%.
Okay,
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So ramen, I guess, would be a soup as well, if you count it that way.
But they say if you drain the broth out of the ramen, is it then just a pasta dish? I'd say yes. I'd say yes.
Okay. All right. I don't have an opinion on that one, but you say yes, and I love that. All right.
You have an opinion on this next one, though.
I do. Because we do, like you said,
Candy Corn Day.
Halloween Eve, right?
Yeah, National Candy Corn Day. Every year, get this, Kurt, 35 million pounds of candy corn are consumed worldwide, and that's about 9 billion pieces. Yeah, 9 billion pieces of candy corn. Do you even like candy corn?
Yes, I don't know what all this hatred is for candy corn. It's like, I don't know. Some people legitimately don't like it. And I think there's a lot of people that are like, well, I'm going to say I don't like it either because it's great.
Hold on a second.
What?
This is great that you like candy corn because you can answer this next question. How do you eat candy corn when you eat it? Do you eat, just tell me how you eat it.
5 at a time. I don't know, a handful. Clunk.
So you eat the whole thing. You don't bite. Because when I try candy corn, because I try it every year, do I like it this year? Nope, I sure don't. I bite the tip of it off, the different colors.
And do you notice that they're all the same flavor?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So some people you're saying I'm in the eat the whole piece in one bite, like about half of people, but then they say that about 30% of people start with a narrower white tip. And then just 15% begin with the wider yellow end, because that kind of seems like the white end kind of seems like it's the handle, right?
No, you know what? I was just thinking that. I was like, wait a second, I have to rethink this. Maybe I don't bite the tip off first.
Maybe you bite off the butt end first.
Don't bite the tip.
Okay, but you don't like candy corn.
I don't love it, but I always try it every year. And I think you're right. I bite the bigger part first because I'm holding on to the tip.
Okay. Well, I am pro candy corn proudly. Not going to change, probably. Well, that must mean we've got something Halloween-y to share right now, right?
That's right. I love it. So the question of the day, the Curtain Gen podcast question of the day is, what's your all-time favorite Halloween costume that you have dressed up in?
Right.
So you have
We've all
you probably have many years under your belt of dressing up for Halloween. What's been your all-time favorite? And you know what? Bonus, if you have a picture of it, send it to us. We'll put it on Facebook.
How great would that be?
Yeah, I want to see pictures. Kurt and Jen in the Morning on Facebook.
That's your fun question for tomorrow. What is, because I think we've all got that 1 year maybe that you remember. It's like, oh, that was that. For a lot of people, maybe there's more than 1 year, but do you have one in mind, Jen?
So we used to, when I was married, the family would dress up themed wise. Like 1 year we did monsters, 1 year we did villains, 1 year we did Peter Pan, and probably my monsters costumes. Those were really fun.
Okay. Do you remember the year I was actually spinning music on Halloween at the Emerald Queen Casino?
Yeah.
And I wore a costume that was all black, all the way down, and it had a hoodie on. And then I got a black mask that like basically covered my entire face. And for whatever reason, that made me feel kind of anonymous, even though I'm up on stage there and there's like 1,000 people out there. I really enjoyed that. I don't know why. I mean, they knew it was me, right? But yeah, it was as they would say in Spinal Tap, there was none more black than that costume. So that was one of my favorites.
Say this, Kurt, I loved when you would go host those events at Emerald Queen Casino.
Oh, how much fun.
Because you would come back with photos of the best costumes, and they are mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing costumes.
Yeah, they were all there for the costume contest, which won a lot of money. And that leads people to say, well, is it the best costume that was creative? Or because some people go out and they spend $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 in their costume. So,
well, whatever.
But yeah, they were awesome costumes either way. So for tomorrow, what's your all-time favorite Halloween costume that you have dressed up in? We cannot wait to hear those from you.
Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate you letting us be part of your day. We do this podcast every weekday, so be sure to tune in. Have a great day, make good choices, find joy, and spread kindness.